Welcome to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, the show where you get the inside access to the best minds in the game. Each week, Chris has the privilege of chatting with top instructors, legendary players, course architects, and industry insiders. If you're looking to improve your game, gain a new perspective, or just hear some incredible golf stories, you are indeed in the right place.
You see, Chris, let me tell you something, I haven't spoken to a press man in my life that is knowledgeable, seriously, as you are. Never.
You do such a great job. It kind of makes me feel good all of a sudden.
You do so much for the game. You're so kind to all of us that are out there in the game. You know, we need more people like you in the game of golf.
Thank you for pressing play. Now, grab your clubs, step up to the tee, and let's get started. This is Next on the Tee.
Hi, folks, and welcome into this edition of Next on the Tee, where golf legends live and your game gets better. I'm your host, Chris Mascaro. I appreciate so much that you press play and you're joining me again for this episode of the show. I've got a couple of not only great guests, but great people on top of their many accomplishments in our game, as well as over in track and field and the NFL. So we're crossing over a little bit on this week's show. My first guest is PGA Master Professional John Hughes. You guys remember John. This is his 7th appearance with me here on the show. He's achieved Master Professional status, which is a huge deal for PGA professionals. When you're looking at potential instructors and people that you're going to want to work with to get better with your game, John is one of only 480 PGA Master Professionals. So one of only 1% of the over 30,000 PGA professionals that have reached that level. On this show, John's going to share some great insights and tips with us, including how to quickly warm up if you're running late for your tee time. You know how many times we're doing that, making the mad dash to the first tee, haven't swung a club, haven't got ourselves ready to play. We hit a bad opening tee shot, takes us about 4 holes before things get all loosened up and we start playing well. Well, John's going to give you a tip maybe to help you get into that first tee shot a little bit better, hit it straighter, and get your round off on the right foot. He also is going to talk about how we can overcome our fears on the course. You guys know we always see the trouble, right? We're standing on the tee. We see the water on the left, the trees on the right, the bunker that's in front of us. He's going to help us get over that and start to think like pros do. We think the wrong way a lot of times. They think the right way. How do we start doing what they do and do it better? So John's got so much in store for you. He's got a wonderful YouTube page. We're going to talk about that. Go out there and look out. John Hughes Golf. So many wonderful videos for you out there to help you with your golf game. John will be here. He joins me here in a moment. Following him, I cross over, like I say, to track and field in the NFL with former wide receiver Eddie Kennison. Eddie has been a longtime friend over on our football show Thursday Night Tailgate. He was a track and football star at LSU. In fact, he's in both the Louisiana and Missouri Sports Hall of Fames. We start off our time together by talking about how after 31 years, after he left LSU to enter the NFL draft, did so after his junior season, he went back to school to earn his college degree and what motivated him to do that in his 50s. From there, I asked him why it feels like wide receivers are such divas nowadays and what it was like back when he played, because I don't remember it being to the level that we're seeing it now. I don't remember wide receivers being as diva-like and wanting to get theirs. I just don't remember it being like that back in the 80s and 90s, but maybe I'm over-romanticizing that period of time. You'll hear what Eddie has to say about all of that. Then we talk about what it was like for him when Mike Ditka, who was the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, traded a second-round pick to bring Eddie back home to the state of Louisiana. And speaking of coaches, very early on in Eddie's career, he played for Dick Vermeil with the Rams. You remember Coach Vermeil, very emotional guy, very emotional on the sidelines. You'll hear what it was like for Eddie to get to play for him as well. And then we end things by, Eddie is a great cook, so we finish off the segment by hearing about Eddie's appearance on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. So, folks, I've got a lot in store for you this week here on Next on the Tee. So much fun, so much information coming your way, so many great tips, and an entertaining show on top of that with 2 great guys who've got a lot that they're looking forward to telling you and sharing with you and their insights and their stories and all of that. So sit back, relax, let us take your mind off everything else going on in your life for the next hour or so. But before we get started, can I ask just a real quick favor? Wherever you're listening to this show today, please subscribe and give the show a rating. It's important for the show's growth to get it in front of more people like you who love our game. The algorithms are everything on the podcast platform, so giving it a like, subscribing, clicking that subscribe button, giving the show a rating, those things are everything with getting the show in front of more people like you. Thank you very much. Okay, you know I like to get things started shouting out the wonderful people that help to sponsor this show, starting with my great friends over at the Trib. TribLive.com is the leading news website in Western Pennsylvania, with news around the clock, Pittsburgh pro sports coverage, a high school sports network, and a podcast network, which is where you can find Next on the Tee. Bookmark TribLive.com or download the Trib Live app for free and stay up to date with the latest news from Western Pennsylvania and beyond. I also want to talk about our friends over at the Pittsburgh Brewing Company and Iron City Beer, a brand that I have loved my whole life and started drinking when I was 21 years old, of course. Whether you're a hacker or a scratcher, the secret to a successful day on the links is knowing when it's time to grab an iron, even if that means keeping it in the bag till the 19th hole. If it's been a while since you've reached for Pittsburgh staple beer, it's time to revisit Iron City. Thanks to their incredible new facility in Creighton, the best-tasting Iron City beer ever made is now available at a course near you. Iron City pairs well with any lie and sky and serves as a friendly reminder that there's always next round. And because it's never too early for chocolate, their double chocolate Bock is back for the season, and it's the perfect companion for a cozy winter evening. Check out all of their wonderful beers and their gift shop by going online to pittsburghbrewing.com. In golf, fast isn't a nice to have, fast is a necessity, and speed off the tee is where it all starts. That was precisely the thinking behind the all-new QI4D family of drivers from TaylorMade, our fastest, most fittable drivers. Built to meet the demands of the world's best players like Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Nelly Korda, and the rest of Team TaylorMade. The QI4D lineup was engineered to unlock the 4 dimensions of speed, starting with a multi-material driver head with enhanced aerodynamic shaping, combined with a faster face and our revolutionary React shaft system. The TaylorMade QI4D drivers are ready to extract every bit of speed from every golfer's unique swing profile. Our industry-leading adjustability and fitting unlocks it all. Watch the full story of QI4D, our quest to build the fastest, most fittable drivers, and unlock your newfound speed at TaylorMadeGolf.com/findingfast. Now back in Next on the Tee with me is PGA Master Professional John Hughes. Let me remind you about John's background. He earned his business degree at Appalachian State. He's been teaching the game for almost 30 years now. He's worked with everyone from beginners all the way up to tour pros. John is one of the very few instructors, oh, by the way, to earn Master Professional status. He is also a top 25 instructor with Golf Tips magazine. Going back to 2013, he won the Horton Smith Award for his dedication to education around the game. He was named the 2023 North Florida PGA Section Teacher of the Year. The Golf Range Association of America named him a top 100 Growth of the Game instructor. Plus, they recently recognized him for his commitment to growing the game as well. He is the honorary president now of the North Florida PGA Section. I had the privilege of spending some more time with John at the PGA Merchandise Show a few weeks ago, and I'm very excited he is back with me again this week here on Next on the Tee. Hey, John, how are you, my friend?
Chris, great to be back, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be back. It was fun seeing you in Orlando, and I hope you got a lot done.
I certainly did. And speaking of which, like I say, we're about a month north of our time down there. Did anything stick out to you while you were there at the show?
The things that stuck out to me this year were the ones that stuck out last year, the abundance of AI, the abundance of simulators, and how they're all sort of coming together to try to make things a lot more convenient for the average golfer. There was a ton, just an incredible amount of choices last year, where this year was probably a lot more collaboration. The smaller companies realizing, hey, I have this, but this other company has that. Let's talk to them. And we sort of saw some collaboration this year that way. A few less choices, but the choices were more thorough. They were more robust as far as what the consumer or even a coach like me could get from those choices. The other thing I saw that really stuck out was the crowd. It's the first time in a long time we've had a crowd for 2 straight days, and that was really exciting to see. And apparently, there was record numbers who attended.
Speaking of AI, which is all the rage, I think some of us are scared to death of it, that it's coming for all of us. Some of us are putting it to really good use. I'm seeing it more and more in the golf industry. Is that a technology that you're starting to incorporate when you're teaching your students?
Yes and no. I would tell you, AI has been an abundantly successful item for me and the team that works behind the scenes to keep me busy, as well as the coaches. The one thing, one of the professions AI is never gonna replace is someone like me or Tom or the other guests you've had on this episode and all the others, because of the human element to it. You could put anything you want into AI and have it analyze it to the nth degree. But how is that going to be delivered, supported, and nurtured by someone else other than the golfer? So there are some times when I'll feed a video into, say, Sportsbox, which is a fantastic 3D platform that does a lot with AI and gives some predictive diagnosis and here's some therapy for what this person needs, therapy as in drills or exercises or such. It's really beneficial and sort of cuts to the chase for any golfer and or any coach. It doesn't necessarily make my job any easier because you still need the eyes, you still need the ears to observe what that golfer is doing. You need it for the nonverbal communication that golfer is providing you, and you need the eyes ultimately to see the ball flight, because that's the one thing that AI is never really going to be able to totally understand. With all the technology we have out there, it's going to get it right about 98% of the time. That 2% is going to be, you know what were those variables that happened that were surrounding that shot, whether it be environmental, circumstantial, cultural, whatever those circumstances are that could have affected the shot. So, am I using it? I'm using it with conservativeness, is the way I'd say it, because nothing's going to replace that communication between me and my client.
John, I want to switch gears into more of the playing lessons because you have so many wonderful videos out on your YouTube channel. You just posted a playing lesson that really resonated with me, and it's about playing the high percentage shot. Talk about checking our egos at the door and giving ourselves the best chance of hitting a good shot, not trying to be a hero, but hitting the high percentage golf shot.
Great question. And that video was shot at the Cascades course of the Homestead up in Hot Springs, Virginia, where you really have to understand what the percentages are. There's so many variations of lie and so many uh, different things you're going to encounter there, that you have to know what your game is capable of doing at that very moment. Not what it did yesterday, not what you did yesterday, not what you're going to do tomorrow. What's going on right now, and that is a lot of the percentages that you have to pay attention to. If you're hitting a fade that day and the shot calls for a draw, and you're not capable of doing it for whatever reason, how am I going to play the percentages to save par, to keep par in play? And I think that's the ultimate question any golfer who's trying to improve has to be able to answer. And as you answer that, you start playing the percentages. You start realizing, let's take my medicine, kick it out back into the fairway. There's no way I'm going to make par here, but I'm at least going to eliminate the double bogey or worse. And that's typically where any golfer has that blow up hole slash ruins the round. It's all about the percentages of keeping the ball in play so you have an opportunity to make par, regardless of your handicap, regardless of what your strength of skills are. And that's really what percentages are. If you're egotistical, always trying to play the hero shot, it's going to catch up with you. And literally, I love that phrase, check the ego at the door. I use it quite often with clients. It basically means it's okay to have this dream that you can do this, but it's a dream. Dreams are in the future, and dreams are things that you have to reach out and obtain and work for. What are you going to do right now? What have you worked for to get to this point right now? And let's play the shot that you're capable of playing, not the one you dream of playing.
John, sometimes we're running late when we need to get to the golf course for our tee time. We only have a few minutes to warm up before we're next on the tee, if you will. You've got a great drill that we can do to loosen up so we can hit a really good opening drive. Talk about the speed drill we can do with our driver.
Yeah, the speed drill with driver, what a lot of people don't realize is you can turn that driver upside down and with either one hand or the other or both hands, really get a decent workout in a quick amount of time. It doesn't take a whole lot. The other thing, as far as 5 minutes, it's not mentioned in that video, is have you gotten green speed? Do you have a feel for the greens? Because you only have the one chance to get that done. So what I tell players is you can do all the exercises and calisthenics you want at the tee box, but before you get there, be sure to just judge your speeds, understand what your average length putt is, and start hitting some putts from that distance to gain how much the green is going to affect your speed control that day. Then move to the box, turn that driver upside down, take a few swings flat footed, take a few swings stepping forward, take a few swings stepping back and then stepping forward, using both hands, using your forward hand, using your trail hand. You'll be very surprised how that can get the bones and the joints and the muscles ready for you to make that big swing.
Let's talk about fear when we're out on the golf course, John. We tend to see all the trouble that's out there. We see the water on the left, the bunker on the right. You say that great golfers don't have any fear. What are they doing or what are they seeing that we need to start doing differently?
Well, first, they don't get a list of questions from Chris Mascara, which is sometimes fearful for me. But what they do, what you have to understand is the difference between scared and feared. When you're fearful, you're fearing the unknown. And when you're scared, there's a relevance of knownness. There's a relevance of what's lying in front of you, and you're scared to go reach out and get it. Fear is basically it's unknown. Are you going to go out and even try to go get it, even though you don't know what you're getting? And playing fearless golf is basically saying, you know what, I'm not sure where this ball's going to land, but I'm going to do everything in my power to set up correctly, to swing the best I can within myself and hit the best shot I can. And I'm going to go find it, no matter where it is. And that's a very simple way of saying this is how you play fearless golf. When you're scared of what the outcome could be because you're too scared of your own trends and tendencies more so than anything else, not necessarily the golf course. And then you combine the golf course with your tendency, your ball flight tendency to be exact, and you're sitting there going, man, how is my fade going to end up where I need it to be? And you start thinking these negative thoughts, as you said. Being fearless is, hey, let's pick out a target. Let's find the closest bullseye that will allow my tendency to happen, and let's take the best swing towards that target. And if everything's planned out correctly, you'll find the golf ball. It's not going to be too far off the beaten path. It's not going to be in a different zip code unless you're making some really crazy swings or your swing is not necessarily inconsistent, but you're being inconsistent in trying to make your swing something that it's not. And if you just go about the business that way, fearless golf is actually a lot of fun to play. When you're playing scared, I don't know anybody who likes playing golf playing scared. And as soon as you change the mindset, it is more enjoyable because it's sort of like walking into a haunted house. You know you're going to be scared, but what are you going to be scared of? You don't know. So you go in anyway. You take the chance. versus, hey, that's a haunted house. I'll be scared in there. I'm not going in there. That's typically how people play golf. They just don't even bother going in there. Can you find that target, play your tendency, let things happen, and have the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to go find it. And I will find it, and I'm going to have a good time doing it.
John, the next couple of questions I want to ask you is kind of the theme of this week's show. I was asking Tom Patry in the first segment, as well as Taylor Crosby in the second, these questions. I kind of want to get your perspective as well. When you strip everything else away, what do you believe is the one fundamental skill that separates high handicappers from good players from great players?
To me, there's two. One is mental toughness, and people do not give that enough credit. That you should be practicing whatever skills you have to hold up under the most scrutinizing of pressure you'll ever put yourself in. And I think that's what the world's best are best at. And that can change hole by hole, round by round, tournament by tournament. As far as physical skills, this was something I was very fortunate early in my career to be an assistant professional at a private club in Greenville, South Carolina, where a bunch of different tour pros showed up to play and just have fun with each other. Some were family, some were just great friends. And they basically boiled it down to distance control and trajectory control. And I think what they were saying way back when was if you took the top, say, 150 at the time is what the list was, the tour list was. And if you said, you know what, who's the top 30 making the tour championship? All these guys can control their distances maybe to the inch sometimes. And then the rest of them have really good distance control, but not necessarily to the inch, maybe to the foot, to the yard, to the few yards as you go down the list. But then they also talked about that top 30 knew exactly what window of trajectory they were going to put the ball in. Where lower in the list, not necessarily they struggled at it so much as there were times that they lost control of that. And I do see that with amateurs leading into becoming a very, very good amateur, leading into, hey, I want to become a tour pro. But what I think today's technology is teaching us is that those two things can only happen if you can put the ball in the middle of the face of the golf club. And that's something that people want to be consistent with, and they just don't have the time like a tour pro does to be as consistent as they can be putting the ball in the middle of the club face. And it boils down to those two skills, being able to put it in the middle of the club face, and then when the opportunity exists and presents itself, are you mentally tough enough to grab that opportunity and make the best of it? And I think when you strip it all down, those would be the two things I'd answer.
What's the biggest lie amateur golfers like me tell ourselves about our own game?
Which hand do you want me to count off of? There are so many. I think it's not a lie so much as it's an untruth that your inconsistency lies in your swing. Your inconsistencies lie, particularly the higher handicaps, in that you inconsistently set up. You're consistently inconsistent at how you set up to swing the golf club. I think that's where it all starts. Uh, Keeping your head still, don't move this, don't move that. It's physically impossible for that to happen and you be able to make a decent golf swing. So all those myths and lies are definitely out there. Um, I think the other lie, and it goes against the grain of the book I wrote last year, is that there can be some instant improvement in what you do, and all you've got to do is sleep on it, or all you've got to do is hope and pray. And that's false, totally false. So you get out of it what you put into it. And when I see a golfer putting very little into it, yet they're wanting this big return, I have to sit them down and let them know that's not necessarily realistic, and nothing in life comes that way. So what is it that you want to do? And that's not so much a lie as much as it's a big myth that I can just go out and play and become really, really good. Less than 7% of our population in the world is a naturally given athlete where you can stick a golf club in their hand and a few months later they're playing some miraculous golf. There's just not too many of those people out there. And if you think you're one of them, I'd like to meet you.
You mentioned your book, and I want you to talk a little bit more about it because you've written a wonderful one, Instant Golf Improvement, The 6 Pillars to Golf Success. Talk about what we'll learn when we go out there and pick up our copy.
Well, it's a book written a lot out of our frustration, but at the same time, it's six different things that over the 30 plus years I've been coaching, it's what it all boils down to. Um, can you aim? Can you understand how far you hit a shot carry yardage, not total? Can you hit a putt? Can you hit your first length putt? And can you make a short putt? Do you understand that you could literally chip your way around the golf course, including your driver, if you understand what that basic chip shot functions about and how you make it grow? And then the other one I've been telling my son about since he was 3, there's a difference between dumb and stupid. Stupid knows better. Why are you out there playing stupid golf? You got to correct that. And then the sixth pillar of the 6 pillars is how do you put all 5 of those first ones together and plan to go out and just play within yourself. And that's the instantaneous moment that you should be able to have and and, and repeat on a more consistent basis, whether you practice or not. And it sort of boils down to some of the things we've discussed here. Are you playing percentages? Do you know what you can and can't do? Are you scared or are you fearless? And if you can put all that together, there is a way to play some instant golf that's improved over what you'd normally experience. And that's what the book's about. It's not only the skills, but the stories about myself, about my clients, who came up against some walls when we thought we should be instantly getting better, and how we got over those walls, how we broke them down and succeeded at achieving what we thought we could achieve. And it's a really simple read. Um, the true story behind this, and I think I shared it with you at the show, is I wrote this book. I didn't think I had enough book in 6 chapters, and my publisher told me I did. And I went out and beforehand and wrote 23 more. And she said, well, no, you've got 2 books here. So as I edited the second book, I've actually got 3 books. So I'm looking forward to publishing. The working title for the next one's going to be called Pillars to Performance and how to instantly obtain those things. Haven't come up with a third title for the third book, but over the next couple of years, there will be sequels, and it's just going to get deeper into the weeds that if you read the first book and had some success and you're thirsting for more, here's how you go about the same methodology and practice it. And then the third book's going to be a lot about how to apply it, not just practice it, but how do you go out and apply these ideas?
When do we get to look forward to Pillars of Performance coming out?
I'm hoping by October. I've got to clear some scheduled time to finish the edit, but it's the busy season here in Florida, so that'll probably start at the end of April. And if everything goes the way it did last year, we should see it probably about mid-October.
John, before I let you go, let us know, what have you got coming up this spring and summer at the Omni Homestead Resort, and how can we follow you online and on social media?
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. We just announced all that earlier this month that I will return to Homestead, Omni Homestead in Hot Springs this year. I'll be up there for limited engagements, May, June. Will be a 3-week stint, 10-day stint in July and August, and another 3-week stint from the end of September through October. Be doing some corporate groups up there. I'll be I have dates available for people to see me and schedule some one-to-one time with me there, whether it's a full day school or just an hour. And you can reach me and get more information about Omni Homestead as well as Omni Orlando Champions Gate Resort here in Orlando. Real easy. JohnHughesGolf.com. Add John at JohnHughesGolf.com, and that's the easiest way to find me.
John, it's always a privilege to get to spend some time with you and have you as part of the show. I hope we get to do it again very soon.
I hope so too. Very much enjoy the conversations, Chris, and you're really good at what you do. I can't thank you enough.
Well, I appreciate that very much. John, take care, my friend. All the best to you and your family. We'll catch up soon.
Same to you. Thanks.
See you, John. That's the great John Hughes, folks. Again, John Hughes Golf is where you can find him online. And look, I've had the privilege of spending some time in person and obviously on this show. I mean, John has been a part of the show. I think tonight was the 7th or 8th time that I've had the privilege of having him on. But getting to spend some time with him over the last couple of years down at the PGA Merchandise Show, pick his brain a little bit, hear about the great things that he's doing. And then from there, looking at the great videos, like I mentioned at the top of the segment. He's got some great videos for you out there, out on his Instagram page and on his YouTube page. And you can see some of their links as well on his website. But there are so many great things out there for you to go out there and watch and learn. The videos aren't long. You take, 2, 3, 4 minutes to watch a video. He has great drills. He's going to be able to help you. You take those things with you to the range or out to you when you're warming up before your round of golf, and you're going to go out there and play better. I mean, look, how many times have all of us been running late to the first tee, and now we're going to be, now I'm all tired. I didn't have any opportunity to warm up. John's got a quick video for you to get the muscles and the joints loosened up so that that first drive doesn't end up dribbled down the fairway or off in the trees. That's going to help you. He's got some great videos around chipping and putting. We've been talking a lot about putting on this edition of the show. John's got some great putting drills for you to help you with your speed, controlling your distance, and all of that sort of thing. Every part of your game are things that John's going to help you with. And then you go out and you pick up his book. Again, it's a wonderful read, Instant Golf Improvement, The 6 Pillars of Golf Success. That's also going to help you on your journey to be able to break whatever milestone you're trying to break this year. Might be trying to break 100, maybe it's 90, maybe it's 80. Maybe you're a great player and you're trying to get into the 70s or below. John's got, like I say, he helps beginners all the way up to tour pros. So you can't go wrong with anything that he is out there giving you, and a lot of it's for free. Can't recommend it enough. Subscribe to his channels, and then we'll get him back on the show again a little bit later on here in the spring. Okay, coming up next is a guy who was just an overall great athlete. Great in track, great in football, had a great NFL career for many teams, mostly remembered for his time with the Kansas City Chiefs. But above all of that, he is a great human being and a great father, and that is Eddie Kennison. Before Eddie jumps into the show, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at On Point Golf. Folks, get the #1 ball marker in the game of golf. On Point is the only 3-dimensional ball marker with alignment technology and a removable coin. It is approved for use according to the rules of golf as defined by the USGA and the R&A. As we all know, putting is all about line and pace. Mark your ball with On Point, engage with your 3-dimensional ball marker, and have more confidence in your line, execute the putt, and lower your scores. Folks, with the likes of Jim Furyk, PGA professionals, and amateurs alike out there using them now, it's the #1 ball marker in golf that actually helps you lower your scores. Go online to onpointgolf.us, read about the science behind it, then put one in your bag and make more putts. I feel like it's the 15th club in my bag. It's helped my game. Why wouldn't you let On Point help yours as well? Again, onpointgolf.us. Check them out and get one in your bag today. And this year, get ready to experience a game like never before at the Keep, the brand new Bill Bergen and Reese Jones co-designed course at Macklemore. Nestled high atop Lookout Mountain, the Keep offers breathtaking vistas that are made even more spectacular as the autumn colors paint the landscape in rich hues of red, orange, and gold. With its challenging layout and awe-inspiring views, every round here is an unforgettable adventure. Whether you're taking on the signature holes or just soaking in the scenery, The Keep is where your best golf meets nature's finest backdrop. So grab your clubs and join us up at Macklemore. The Keep is open and it's waiting for you. And folks, if you haven't tried 2-under yet, you really need to. Why? Well, from the first tee to the clubhouse, 2-under's Joey Pouch is going to keep you comfortable and locked in all round or all day. Build your own bundle by going online to 2-under, that's the number 2, UNDR.com, and save up to 20%. Okay, now back and next on the tee with me, a guy who has been a wonderful friend for many years, starting out over on our football show Thursday Night Tailgate, and now over here on Next on the Tee, and that is Eddie Kennison. Eddie is one of our guest Hall of Famers over on TNT. He's also a Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer and a State of Missouri Sports Hall of Famer as well. He played wide receiver in the NFL for the Rams, Saints, Bears, Broncos, and Chiefs. The first time that I got to spend some time with Eddie was all the way back on October 27th of 2011. So like I say, he's been a great friend for a long time. Looking back at his career, here are just a few highlights from his college days at LSU. He caught at least one pass in each of the last 31 regular season games he played. He was a two-time recipient of the AT&T Long Distance Award in 1994, in particular for his 100-yard punt return against Mississippi State. He was also a member of LSU's 4x100-meter relay team that finished second in the nation at the national championship in 1995, and he was a four-time All-American in track. In 1993, he was named to the All-Freshman team in football. In 95, he received the Percy E. Roberts Award for being LSU's Offensive Player of the Year. That year, he was also named second-team All-SEC. Eddie was a first-round draft pick, the number 18 selection overall in 1996 by the then St. Louis Rams. He played in the league from 96 to 2008. Eddie still ranks 10th all-time in Chiefs history in receiving yards and 11th in receiving touchdowns. And it's a huge thrill to get to spend some more time with him this week here on Next on the Tee. Hey, Eddie, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Chris. A wonderful, wonderful, and beautiful introduction, my friend. So I definitely appreciate those kind words and doing great on this end, my friend. How are you?
I'm really good, Eddie. It's great finally catching up with you. It's been a minute. Catch me up. What's been going on with you?
Well, first, let me apologize because I was supposed to join you last week, and it was the day I was supposed to join you. It was Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras here in Louisiana. And I tell you, the time you wanted me to come on, man, that was like prime time, parade time. It would have been insane. You wouldn't have been able to hear me. But, you know, life has been wonderful. You know, back here in Louisiana, raising my 12-year-old son. And, you know, he's in school. I get to be dad full time. And I get to help coach a couple of his sports at his school. I just recently became a grandfather twice. I have 2 grandkids now. How about that, Chris?
Wow.
And so, yeah, my 2 older boys are doing fantastic. And man, life is just, I couldn't ask for anything better in my post football career. It's just been fantastic.
Good for you, my friend. And speaking of your oldest son, I want to give a shout out because I always love giving a shout out to our military veterans and those that are continuing to serve. And your oldest son, Carrington, has served our country in the Navy. Talk about him.
Yeah. Wow. Man, you just go right in. You're going to make me start crying and get emotional right off the bat. I tell you, man, but you know, my oldest son, Carrington, I could not be more proud of the man that he has become. He is now a husband. He's now a father of 2 beautiful, beautiful kids. And you know, the way he goes about his business in all facets, as a man of God, as a Navy man, as a husband, as a father, as a son. I mean, he is just top tier. I mean, if there was, for me as his dad, you know, for the time and work that he has and continues to put in, you know, he would definitely have a gold medal in his dad's Olympics every single day.
Wow, that's beautiful. And speaking of proud, you should be proud of yourself because going back to 2024, 31 years or so after you left LSU, following your junior year to go play in the NFL, you went back to school and graduated. Tell me about that.
Well, and this really stems from my middle son, Josiah. And we didn't get a chance to, say anything about him, but, he's living in Austin. He's day trading. He's a phenomenal, phenomenal kid. He definitely has way more guts than I ever had, man. And, just how he's doing. And again, he gets a gold medal for being an awesome son. But a lot of me going back to school were conversations with my middle son, Josiah, and some with Carrington, my oldest son, you know, and having these conversations around, getting your degree, getting an education, to give yourself a better opportunity, in this world. Doesn't always come true because not everyone that goes to college are very successful, but it gives you a better chance. So when I left LSU in 1996, I left as a junior. And at the time, obviously, my kids were not born. And I promised my mom that eventually I would go back and get my degree. I didn't know when, I didn't know how, or, when it would actually happen. So when LSU hired me in 2020 to be the director of player development for LSU football, one of the first things I asked was, are you guys still willing to pay for my education to get my degree? And LSU absolutely said yes. And in the conversations with my boys before then, you keep telling us that we need to get our degree and get an education, but you haven't gotten yours yet. And that was like reality check for me. So when I was hired back at LSU, I was able to call my two older boys, Carrington and Josiah, and say, you guys get ready because dad is back in school and I'm about to get my degree. And it was just so cool because my youngest son, Griffin, who I have full time, he got to see me go through that process of, getting him to school, getting back and having homework at night. And I tell you what, Chris, walking across that stage and accomplishing that feat, not only for myself, but for all three of my boys to be able to witness that, man, that was pretty special. It was incredible.
Yeah, that had to be a pretty proud moment, standing up on that stage, getting ready to walk across to grab that degree. That's a heck of an accomplishment, Eddie. Particularly, I don't know how you wrapped your mind around, again, going to study and write papers and all of that thing. That's hard enough to do in your teens and your 20s, let alone around 50.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, it was actually easier this go around because I didn't have all of the other distractions. I didn't have football. I didn't have track. I didn't have on campus life or, all of the other things that went along with when I was in school at 17, 18 years old. So it was a lot more clear for me, and I was able to focus a lot more. Yes, I was raising my son, but a lot of my work came after I put him down for the night for sleep. And then I was able to really lock in and focus in. So for me, it was a lot easier in my 50s than it was when I was 17 and 18.
You mentioned when you were speaking about your sons being great men of God, and Eddie, I know you have a tremendous faith, and faith is front and center in your life. Has that always been the case since you were young, or did that come later on in life?
Well, it has been since I was younger, but like most Christian people or people of faith or in God, some people have those times where we know that God is there and we know he's available and we know that, he's watching and all of these things. But us as human beings, as, creatures of habit and want to see the world, we step away, from that time with God consistently in our lives. And I absolutely did that, especially when I got drafted. I still had my belief in God. I still prayed. I still prayed with my family, but I wasn't living it through and through on a daily basis. And it got to the point in my early to mid 30s where I really had to hone in and focus on how I wanted my boys to view who their dad was in God. And I knew that I had to get to a place where they saw that their dad was a godly man. I talked it, I walk it, I live it as best as I can on a daily basis. One, for me, but my boys, they also get to see it because I know that it gives them the absolute best chance to be better men for this world and for themselves and for their family.
Eddie, I want to take that, put a little different spin on it, if you will. And some things that I'm seeing around the NFL today, and maybe I just wasn't aware back in the 80s, 90s when you played the game, but when I look around what's happening with specific players, and this could be because of the development of social media, but I feel like nowadays, particularly wide receivers, they're divas. I feel like for so many of them, winning is secondary behind getting their numbers. Here we are on the heels of the Winter Olympics, and I'm always reminded of the great statement from Herb Brooks that the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the one on the back. How different, if at all, are wide receivers and their mindsets nowadays versus when you played? How different, if at all, are wide receivers today from when you played?
Chris, the only thing that's different is social media.
Is that
Wide
right?
receiver, we've always been divas. We've always been the people that say, "Get me the ball." And my wide receiver class in 1996. Sports Illustrated deemed the 1996 class of wide receivers to be the best class of wide receivers in NFL history. And we've been divas, man. We want the football. We want to be seen. We want it to be recognized, and they still do today. They just have a bigger platform or more platforms to be able to show it and express how they feel about the game and about themselves and their brand. So no different. They just have more platforms.
One of your former teams, the Chiefs, had a bit of a down season this past year. And when I look at it and what I've been saying to people, I'm not so sure it's because the roster wasn't as good, more than this team's been for the last 7 years in a row, playing way more games than anybody else. They're getting to the AFC Championship game, getting into the Super Bowl. They've played so many more games that maybe this roster is just tired. Maybe they're just a little more beaten up than everybody else. What do you make of the Chiefs having a down year this past season?
Chris, if I wasn't a former player and understood the game, I would probably have to agree with you 100%, but I don't. They're just seasons where you're good, and then there's seasons when you're not, and other teams are good. And it was just one of those years where a lot of things didn't happen for the Chiefs. We had injuries. You had just not great play by all of the guys, and other teams are just as good, and they do their homework, and those guys get paid just like the Chiefs organization and players get paid. And it was just a down season. And we hope that as we get into the off season with the Chiefs, and I've kind of heard Travis say he wants to come back, to potentially finish his career with a Super Bowl victory. And that's just the mindset that we have as athletes, as football players. But in particular, the Chiefs, they just didn't play well this year. And other teams played better to win football games. And obviously, we saw the Super Bowl and all of that fun stuff. So they just had a down season.
Looking back at your career and being an LSU legend, how exciting was it for you when Mike Ditka traded a second-round pick to bring you to New Orleans in '99?
Hey, it was so fun, and I still love Mike Ditka to this day. Just the fun that we had, the stories that were shared, and who he is as a man, as a coach, as a person. I respect Mike Ditka so much, and bringing me home to Louisiana was absolutely phenomenal. Old country kid from Lake Charles, Louisiana, man, going to Missouri, for 3 years. I think I was a little homesick. And when I came to New Orleans, it was like I was revitalized. I mean, everything just kind of opened up because I was around my family more often, around my friends who I grew up with more often. So for me personally, it was a great move. I think it helped rejuvenate my career and help me enjoy and love the game even more because I was able to perform in front of hometown and family and friends.
Did you grow up a Saints fan?
I did not.
Who was your team?
I don't remember ever having a team. I had a person, and as a kid, I used to work out on a hill in Houston with Earl Campbell.
Is that
And
right?
yes, and if you think like Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, those guys did a lot of hill running and mountain running and steep hill running, and Earl Campbell did the same thing. And there was this one canal that was right next door to our house, and Earl Campbell used to come run up this hill in the canal, and he will let a few kids come in and join him, and I was one of those kids. So I had a person, and I remember that vividly as a 8, 9, 10-year-old kid running with Earl Campbell, and he was a person that I watched and admired as a football player. And I wasn't even a Houston Oilers fan. I was an Earl Campbell fan. So I never had like a football team.
You got to play a couple of seasons for Dick Vermeil earlier in your career with the Rams. He's a very emotional person, a very emotional coach on the sidelines. I got to spend some time with him a few years ago over on our other show on Thursday Night Tailgate. What was it like for you playing for him?
In St. Louis and in Kansas City. And Dick Vermeil, by far, is my absolute favorite head coach that I've ever played for. Ever. Dick and I, we still talk, 2 or 3 times a month, even to this day. And he's just one of them people that when you have conversations with him, he still remembers my 3 boys by name. He asked me by their name. He asked me about their mother by her name. And you can imagine like all of the people that he's coached and all of the families that he's gotten to know over his career. And he still calls my kids by their name and their mother by her name. It's just incredible to me. And the times that we shared, the stories that we shared, he's just a phenomenal person, and he still is to this day.
Eddie, this is a golf show, so I got to sneak in a golf question for you. And as I was scrolling through your Instagram page, I saw that you and your young son Griffin, you're out there at Topgolf. Is that something the two of you enjoy doing together?
We love going to Topgolf, and it gets us a quick little getaway. Whether doesn't matter what the weather is, and we absolutely love going to Topgolf. We enjoy going to the golf course as well. We just have a lot more time to be able to go to Topgolf and enjoy those times together. Absolutely.
I saw your post making crawfish etouffee, fried catfish, and dirty rice. Shout out to your friend at Papa Earl's and Jesse LeBlanc. Are you a good Cajun cook?
Hey, brother, I'm a country boy from Louisiana. We cook it all. So the answer is yes.
And I also saw you appeared on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. Tell me about that.
Hey, I tell you what, I'll tell you that experience was absolutely fantastic, and Gordon, you see the TV personality, and you think that his TV personality is who he is, but I tell you, Gordon is the nicest, softest guy on the other side of the camera. You would never believe that his TV personality is not who he is personally, and I thought that was so refreshing because I think about us as athletes. Doesn't matter what sport. At some point, you have to be able to turn it on to perform, and then once that performance is over, you got to be able to turn it off. And Gordon absolutely does that, and he does it well. He's a phenomenal human being.
So tell me about your relationship with Jesse LeBlanc and the folks over at Papa Earl's.
Oh, Papa Earl. Jesse is my neighbor here in Louisiana.
Is that right?
We live in the same neighborhood, man. And he is a phenomenal human being, man. He started this seasoning company, And I tell you what, you look for all of the different, they have great seasonings everywhere, right? Everyone is making seasoning and make food and experiences a whole lot better. And I was able to get to know Jesse and then try his product, in my kitchen. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And it's good to have neighbors who have seasoning like that, because I don't have to go to the store. I just call Jesse, hey, man, I need some more. And then, I'll go by and pick up some fish fry, or, some of his garlic butter seasoning, some of his hot sauce. But I tell you what, man, it makes cooking very, very fun here in Louisiana, especially when you have a great product to cook with. And Papa Rose is definitely one of those.
Eddie, just a couple more before I let you go. What have you got coming up this spring? What's going on with you?
Well, at the moment, I've just started uh, uh, partnering and putting the Eddie Kennison brand with companies here in Louisiana. So I'm starting to put together contracts and endorsement deals to partners with not only Louisiana companies, but I also want to do some domestic and international companies, and do some great work in television. I want to do some voiceovers for movies, and put the Eddie Kennison brand out there and partner with some companies, brother. And that's what I'm working on as we speak.
So tell me about the voiceovers. You got me excited about it. I might get to hear Eddie Kennison.
The movie industry, it's so big. You have so many streaming platforms for TV shows and for animations and all of these fun things. And I am a movie watcher. I'm a movie lover. I still go to the movies by myself and sit in the movie theater. I will sit at home all day and watch movies on different platforms, and I can absolutely visualize myself having being a voiceover for one of the TV animations or one of the movie animations, and that's kind of a goal for me. So I'm working towards that now.
Well, I hope that comes true. I'm rooting hard for you.
Thank you, brother. Well, if you have anyone that's out there that's looking for a potential voiceover, man, send them my way, and we can talk some things out.
There you go. Eddie, before I let you go, how can our listeners stay up to date with you, whether they're following you online or it's on social media?
Yeah, so I do Instagram and Threads, and both of those, Instagram and Thread, it's my first name, Eddie, and I. So EDDIE, I. And my Facebook is Eddie Kennison III. And those are really the three that I focus on and use at this point in time.
Eddie, it is always such a joy to get to spend time with you. I can't thank you enough for your kindness and your generosity. Like I say, it's been over 15 years that we've had the privilege of having you on the other football show and now on this side. I can't thank you enough for your time and, like I say, the generosity that you have shown us over the years. You're fantastic, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Chris. And if I cannot leave without telling you this, my friend, I say it as often as we talk, that you have done such a fantastic job with all of your guests that come on, with conversations and leading and doing it the correct way, man. I cannot be more proud of you. Man, I love you with the love of Christ. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And whenever you want me on the show, I told you this 15 years ago, that whenever you want me on, I'm on, brother, and we'll make it happen. We'll have a good time.
I can't thank you enough for that, Eddie, and how much that means to me, how much you mean to me. I love you right back as a brother in Christ. You are just one of the all-time great people on the history of this show, Thursday Night Tailgate. You're in our guest Hall of Fame over there, and just one of the best human beings on the planet. I hope I get this privilege with you again soon.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Have a great night, Eddie.
You as well.
See you, Eddie.
Bye-bye.
That is the great Eddie Kennison, folks. As a human being, they don't come any better than that guy. As you heard through the course of the conversation, what exudes from Eddie is the love of Christ. To me, a wonderful, godly man, a wonderful family man, and just a fantastic athlete at everything he did in track and football, whatever. But what exudes from Eddie is just positivity and a light. And there is something about every time I have the privilege of spending time with Eddie, that I feel better about myself just because it exudes the happiness, the positivity, and the love exudes from Eddie. And that just radiates all the way through into my headphones and into my heart. He has just been a wonderful friend, like I say, for over 15 years now. He makes you feel better about yourself than the great athlete that he is. And that's really hard to do when you think about all the great things Eddie has achieved over the course of his career. But I appreciate him very much. He means the world to me. I've got my 87 jersey on from the Chiefs, and I've had that since the very first time that he joined us back in 2011, and I've worn it proudly ever since. And every time he's a part of the show, I want that to kind of radiate through and for him to know how much he means to me. So I can't thank him enough. Like I say, the opportunity to catch up with him again, hopefully here in the spring or the summertime. Maybe we talk a little more golf. If he's getting his son out on the golf course, I love the fact that he and Griffin are going out to Topgolf. Well, maybe we'll talk a little more on-course stuff and then pick his brain a little bit more as we head into college football and the NFL. But like I say, one of the great human beings that you'll meet in this life, Eddie Kennison. Go out there and follow him again on Instagram at Eddie III. All right, my friends, it is time for me to put a bow on this episode of Next on the Tee. My sincere thanks again to John Hughes and Eddie Kennison for making this episode so informative and so much fun to be a part of. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did because, man, those two guys, John Hughes, a PGA Master Professional, Eddie Kennison, one of the all-time great athletes in the world of sports, let alone two great guys and two great human beings. Coming up with me next time are LPGA Teaching Hall of Famer Nancy Corsolino will be back. You guys know how great Nancy is. I mean, she is in the LPGA Teachers Hall of Fame, for crying out loud. So really looking forward to having her back. Plus the confidence doctor, Dr. Bob Winters. You know we love kicking off every single month with Dr. Bob, helping us with our mental approach so we can have more fun and take the pressure off of ourselves when we're out there so that we can hit good golf shots, enjoy being out in nature, and playing well on top of that. So it's going to be a fantastic show. Hope you'll come back and press play on that one as well. I want to thank our friends again over at Trib Live for being such wonderful partners and for hosting this show on their site. For the latest news from Western Pennsylvania and beyond, including your favorite sports, go to triblive.com. You can find this show by then clicking on the Sports section tab and the most recent episode front and center on the homepage of the Sports section. Or you can type in podcast.triblive.com and you're going to see a lot of the most recent episodes available for you there as well. As you know, the show is also available on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, Amazon Music, and golfnewsnet.com. And folks, if you would take just a couple of seconds, I would really appreciate it if you, wherever you're listening to this show today, click on the subscribe button and give the show a rating. You guys know how important algorithms are in everything, it seems like nowadays. Well, to get the show in front of more people like you, those two things are very important. Just click subscribe, give the show a rating, take you less than 30 seconds. It would make a big difference. Folks, and to take that a step further, you know how much I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are the greatest supporters in the history of podcasts, barring none. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, hit 'em straight, my friends.
Thanks for joining Chris again this week on Next on the Tee. We hope you enjoyed the conversations as much as we did. Please share the show with your golf buddies and be sure to follow it on Trib Live or your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for pressing play and being part of the journey. We'll see you next week, right here, where the best minds in golf share their stories.